Hey everybody, sorry my storage got full and cut out the video, so we're back. So yeah, the Oxycontin, my friend, I was all alone. Da 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 da. Da, didn't know what I was doing. What I'm doing. Didn't know what I was gonna do with my life. My friend, like, we had a bad. At least for me, it was a bad separation, and it definitely helped motivate me to just become more and more depressed, as well as the drinking and the oxycontin, and I was smoking a lot of cigarettes, and I just didn't wasn't doing shit. And then I was looking at. I remember I was starting to get darker and darker and darker into my searches on YouTube. Like I started looking into shit like angels and demons, and like just I watched like I think my first documentary on Satanism and shit like that, and it's like I was just starting to like go into some darker areas. Like I was just feeling drawn towards darkness, and anyways, not that I'm not trying to like hate on any of those. I'm just explaining to you the situation. And it was in doing so around that same time that I came upon the 13th Sons videos on YouTube, and just the first video I still remember was the one on birthdays, and how just with the sugar and like it's essentially kind of a ritual which helps solidify your existence here in the matrix and disconnects you from higher dimensions and stuff like that. And that was the first video I watched. And ever since I watched that, I was it clicked something inside of myself, and I just felt like whatever. Like, I mean, initially it was just felt familiar. Like the information, what he was saying, his energy, like it was all very familiar, and it was resonating with my soul and like exactly what I needed to hear at that moment. And so I continued watching it. And then I checked out his channel and I started watching all of his older videos. And he was at that time he was still making videos consistently. So I was also picking up on some of the new stuff he was putting out. And this went on for a very long time. I've watched a lot of his videos twice or even 3 or 4 times. So for years, I was essentially studying his material, and in doing so, I mean, a lot of what he talks about is about helping yourself, healing yourself, fucking getting rid of the shit that's not doing you good, helping, helping you remember why you're here, activating certain DNAs in you, like just like stuff like that. So, um, I did that for a while, and I eventually got to a spot where I was not drinking anymore, and I was very healthy, like physically wise. Still, kind of traumatized and had a lot of baggage to deal with, but I was in a much higher vibrational state and much more optimistic and capable in life in general. And that's when I started thinking about, well, how do we save the world? Like, how do we solve this problem? Like, I felt like I, accomplished a little bit of my time, and then in learning about his information. Part of his information is all about the draconians, the reptilians, like how they've essentially been humanoids, and these certain malevolent reptiles. You could call them that, and they've been fighting each other for a very long time, and that's essentially what's going on here. And there's an amount of them. There's a collection of them that have made deals essentially with certain I say human families, and exchange for certain things. And it's an exchange that they've made, and in doing so, they've perpetuated a particular agenda and just cultural narrative for the peoples of this planet of Earth, of this reality. And like getting into low vibrational, perpetuating that, and then also, he's very, he emphasizes a lot about how he thinks, and I'm hoping to change this because it's really bothersome. But it was, from his mouth, it was essentially only 85%, or I'm sorry, 85, only 15% of humanity will make it, essentially to heaven or to a higher vibrational reality, and that 85% of us will be slaughtered, and that like that's part of their plan is, with the New World Order and them coming up, and it's going to be like a feast, and it is what it is, man. It's fucking wild. So anyways, and so learning all these type of things, I'm sitting here like, okay, wow, this is a situation going on. And then I also, before I watched 13, I'd watched Alex Collier way back when. And this is why what he's said really has stuck with me throughout this whole thing too. And it kind of lined up with what 13 said. And then that also helped motivate me to figure out the solution here, was that if 10% of humanity came together in love, like a loving vibrational frequency, energetic frequency, that in itself would be enough to repel these lower vibrational, malevolent, extraterrestrials and even humans away, like to where they wouldn't even be able to be like anywhere near us. Like it would be like a force field pushing them away. Our love energy is that powerful to them. Just like fear fucks with us, our love fucks with them. So this is why they don't want us being that way. That's why they want us in fear, because they can also control us and use us and then like feed on us like a battery, literally. So, anyways, so Alex Collier said that a while ago, and then I started watching 13 Sons, and then he gave me all the intricate information I needed to heal my body, and just more of a like a specific soul purpose type, expression of information with his apostolistic connection. So, and then that's what led me to the place of like, okay, then now I'm strong, I'm feeling good, I know what we're here, I feel like I really know why I'm here, what's going on with humanity, so we need to change this and get develop more loving reality. And so then that's when I started thinking about higher vibrational activities and a way of living and getting back to nature and trying to incorporate all these different aspects to create some type of a solution or game plan for humanity to fight back against this current, low reality that's perpetuating a lot of low vibrational energy. Excuse me. Excuse me. So like that, and that just sent me on the trajectory of going on spiritual missions and going to Arizona, Louisiana. I mean, to Florida. I've done Arizona multiple times. I've done my own trips here in Oregon in the wilderness, and a lot of it's to seek out the answers, and also a lot of intent was to try to live away from the system, and and work on some type of a way to help bring other people out of the system, and figure out a way for us to make to live and to build and all these type of things. And it's just been a learning lesson for the past since I started. So. But I just continued on, I continued on, I continued on, I continued on. But in doing so, I kept on like communicating with my friends, and like there'd be a lot of, I'm making videos and stuff, so they watch me making videos and hear what I have to say. So there'd be a lot of conversations about the content I said, and a lot of criticism, and a lot of da-da-da back and forth. And then when I met Joshua in New Orleans, I told him who he was. There was a lot of controversy with my friends and my families about that. And I can feel like now that I look back, I can see it slowly but surely, you know, all these conversations I was having, and like me just going more into that direction, was creating more of a separation between my past self and also like past relationships. Not that I still don't care about them like family, and I love them, I do, but I was changing into something that was different than whom I was before with them. And and the more I went with that change, the deeper the separation became. And that's essentially what's led me to where I am now. Like meeting Josh, even with Joshua, the same thing started to happen. Like we clicked very well initially, but there were still things I was seeing that I was like, I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if it's right, but I let it go because of who he initially told me he was, out of respect. And also because that was the main reason, but also I don't like confliction. So I don't like being like, hey man, are you sure that's right? Like, I don't like trying to like correct people, because like, it's just not something I like to do. But again, whenever I know something, I choose not to speak on it, bad stuff happens. And that's exactly what happened with Joshua. Like, there was a lot of times when I should have maybe stood up a little bit more but I mean, I say we all did what we were supposed to do, but in retrospect, if I had done that, it may have averted, other negative situations, and also, bringing us closer to a more positive and successful relationship, and also just with the project and everything in the movement. But, anyways, I had to learn what I had to learn. So, and then eventually it came to a point to where we kept on having conflicting ideas on things, and he's gone his way, and I'm now gone my way. And, since I've just continued to push in this specific direction of saving the world, and, following my heart and trying to incorporate all these things and following my ideas and not really listening to other people. I mean, hearing what they have to say, but not like really hearing anything that I find to be, I take what's good for me, but most of what I already like, I'm still not really seeing, and I don't mean to be I'm not seeing anything else that I really am like, oh my goodness, like this dude's got, like he's leading, like I feel like it's kind of my place here. So I'm just learning more to listen to myself and take what I see around and observe around and use it for what good I can, and give credit when it's due. But also to know that until I see something that I like registers, like, oh, that dude's got it fucking dialed in, kind of like the way I do, and even better, then until then I'm going to continue going with what I got going on. And that can offend people. That can make, so it's something I've had to learn, because it's like, I'm just sitting here trying to help out the world the best way that I can. But in doing so, I've gotten to this place to where it's like, I'm now I'm allowed information that other people aren't allowed to. And then they looked at my current situation with my, finances, and living in the basement and all these type of things, and they get jealous, and it's like, okay, well, fuck, dude. And, that's, it's kind of alien to me, but I now, from looking from their eyes, I can see why they would feel that way. And then, so in doing so, and then along with the kratom that I continue to be taking, like that in itself is also pushing me away from wanting to even speak to my friends. Like, there's many times I told my friends, like, hey man, I just don't feel like talking. Like, I would text, but it's still not the same as a conversation. And, I continuing to do that for, years, eventually that also helped build up more of a separation. And yeah, but the whole time I'm still thinking about how to save the world and all this and that, and doing research on hemp and writing things down, and at times making videos, at times not making videos, and then but all that work, and then like so like all these relationships that I'm going through the process of like not having friendships anymore, and it's like so that's all an area of my life that I'm becoming, and um so part of me is like, hey, this is like part of my life is like not being alone, like this is me being lonely, and I think that that also had an effect on me not wanting to engage more with other with females. So but yeah, and so in doing so, like, and not having money, and like the sacrifice of not working and spending more time, like 'cause it is kind of a sacrifice, but also a lot of times too with little bear. Initially, he was very violent. Within the first, I think, within the first 6 months was when he started attacking me and the family, and that went on for a very long time. And so I finally put my foot down and kind of like spiritually challenged him. Like, I mean, I had to. Like, he was attacking my mother, like physically, like jumping up and biting my mother when she would just try to leave the house. And it's like, whoa, dude, no, this can't happen. Like, it's one thing you want to attack me and stuff, but my mother's my mother. So it's like once he did that one time, like he'd already been doing, like he'd attacked everybody in my family multiple times, man. Draw blood, like vicious attacks, to where I have to pick up pillows and defend myself, and I've had to like anyways, so I finally just, took him out in the backyard, was like, hey, man, do you want to go? Like, what you're doing is hurting people violently. Like, you can't keep doing this. If you were to do this in the wild around other animals, they would attack your ass. They would defend themselves and have to attack you. So it's like, I kind of put off that type of energy. Like, hey, man, like, if I wanted to, I could really hurt you. But I'm choosing not to because I love you, little bear. And something happened to you when you were young, I think, that caused this type of trauma to where you feel like you got to attack us. And I think part of it was like he didn't want my mom to leave, so he would attack her because he didn't know how else to deal with the separation anxiety. Essentially, is what I think a part of it was. He was also very like if you had too much fear in you or something like that, he's extremely sensitive to emotions. So if like you pick up on that shit, he attacks sometimes. Doesn't anymore, but he used to be. He'll growl now. He's learned to just growl a little bit, and it's like it's a warning. But he used to not even growl. He used to just kind of like and just go and vicious. I mean, I had people tell me when I was walking him back in the back in the day when we lived in another neighborhood, he was like, be careful with that one. That's a killer. And it's like, oh wow. So anyways, that happened, and because of that situation, I didn't want to work because I was afraid he would hurt my mother or my father like very badly. And so like I wanted to be here to help protect them and little bear to make sure nobody got hurt. And I had to do so multiple times. So that also kept me from working. But while doing that, I was trying to my best to, figure out how to